Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has been present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. HDPP, where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP. Clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chatroom applauses. History supporting local causes. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
Oh, and here we go again. Oh, hello. Good evening. How are you? Are we all well? Are we all well? Yes, my loves. Good game. My word. Here we are. Sunday night again. And here we are again. Happy as can be. Apparently. It's another nice warm welcome from Hinckley District, past and present, live on a Sunday evening. I'd love to know how many of these programs we've done now. Seriously, when you think about it, all the way through lockdown, and then all the ones we've done since. I mean, I know I deleted a load because there were just too many of it. Makes you wonder. But anyway, it's good that you are here, and I'm glad that you're there, because otherwise I'd be very silly here chatting to myself. Mind you, that's not uncommon either. I do chat to myself. Let's face it, we all start chatting to ourselves at some point. Sometimes you need expert advice, so you talk to yourself because you know you can give yourself expert advice. Well, we opened the doors earlier on and they started falling in. Started with Anne Hunt first. Hello, Anne. And Dave Blower was leaning up the door since 6 o'clock. So we opened it and in he come. Daniel Coburn, good evening. Nice to do you there. Ian Roberts, but he's here this week. Nice one, Ian. And Kawasakoni, all the way from New Orleans, is here as well. Along with Dennis Perkins. Dangerous Denny's here again. Nice one, mate. Glad that you're here as well. And Dave B says, well, I'm here as fast as my internet will allow. And let's face it, when you're on a canal boat in the middle of nowhere, you do have to rely on which way the wind is blowing to see whether you get the faster connection or not. That's true. Clive Armstrong is here. Hi, mate, you're right. Kevin Beasley joins us as well, which has just reminded Mrs. G, can you get me a glass of water, please? Thank you. I've just remembered I was too busy setting things up that I haven't got my glass of water. Pat Galloway is here as well. Good evening, Paul, Sue, and everyone else with a great big cooey. You always know HDPP members in Castle Street because that's what you hear all the way down. Can't beat a good cooey, can you? Now then, Dennis says, I do not know why I was a good 3 minutes behind everybody else last week. You must have fell into a tiny wormhole. Yeah, you know, one of those timey-wimey things. Yeah, absolutely. John Denny's here now. Then we're going to be hearing about John Denny. How did he do in the old Flying Banana? Once again, left his book gathering dust so he could go gallivanting down Castle Street in his Flying Banana. Actually, I'm sure it went very well, John. I did mean to check, actually, and we've had lots of pictures posted on Hinckley District, past and present. I noticed Ernie Still had posted quite a lot, so I didn't get a chance to see the Soapbox Derby this year, mainly because we've had the two little ones with us. They had other ideas, you know, and then we thought, well, it'd be bit too crowded and stuff. But anyway, from what I know, it all went very, very well. Kath Denny's here as well. Lovely. Now, please remember to like the video, please, because it all helps with the antibiotics. Yeah. Queen Bee is here as well. And sorry we haven't had a chance to come up, Mum. Just been so stupidly busy. And then this afternoon, when we finally got a bit of peace time, it really was, trust me, been a busy weekend. Anyway, as we scroll down, Mrs. Poldark is here too. Kit, I've not forgot what we spoke about on that big map. I promise you I will get it sorted. It's just been a bit sort of at the minute. The crops are in. Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it for the crops, shall we? We always know. Eventually, when they haven't had a better offer, they come to us. So that's nice to know there. And also, Jan Kober says, spotted John at the Soapbox Derby. I know. He puts that monkey suit on and then he's away. He doesn't know anybody then, John don't know. He really don't. Next year, we'll have it sponsored by John's book, won't we, everybody? Yeah, that's a good idea. You can do I'm getting a great idea. He could actually go down with a big placard, you know, with his book advertised. As he flies down Castle Street, everybody will see it and everybody will want. I should have worked in advertising. So there you go, John. You got a whole year. Oh, no, then you know what that means. That means we've got another whole year to wait till he thinks about painting the sign to go on it. Yeah. Shall I do it? I don't know. I might get stuck writing the sign. No, leave John alone. Somebody said the other day, why do you get on at John Denny? And I say, why don't you mind your own business? No, John knows it's all in good jest, but we want your book. We want it now. Absolutely. Alan Cropsey, you sound better this week. I hope so, full recovery. My voice is a lot better this week. Sue thought she'd gone deaf in the week. She did, because the old voice was going and it was... But it took a little while, to be fair. It took a little while for it to sort of start to come back into its normal place. But I do have to keep it well lubricated, which a nice pint of Newcastle Brown did earlier on. Just testing, and it was good. Anyway, welcome to the programme. Sorry I'm rabbiting on a bit. It's a Sunday night, which means we've got a brand new nosy tonight. It's only been on the internet for about the last hour, so and we will be screening the latest nosy from Steve towards the end of the programme. We've got 6 of the best, a couple of features, which I hope indeed that you're going to enjoy tonight. Okay, and as you know, basically, yeah, we recycle things on this programme as well. So a couple of things you may have seen tonight, but I think the quiz is good tonight. 6 of the best is good tonight. Oh, and good evening to Judy Peatfield. Yeah, she said it was a great soapbox derby. I was behind the scene on the registration desk. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Well, I think everybody did. A lot of chit chat on the group about what a great day it was. So brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So with no further ado, as I always say, let's go straight in for 6 of the best. Wait a minute, I've got to get in the right place. Right, there we go. Because I was checking my answers earlier on, you see. So 6 of the best. Let me just remind you, and from the fun and games we had last week, stop putting your answers in until we tell you to, right? Now, my advice is, as always, don't put your answer in the chat room until the end of the programme when we ask you one by one, that's question by question, to put your answer in. No put in the answer to question 5 when we've only just done question 2. That spoils it and people nick your answer, you see. So that's where we're going. So 6 of the best. We're going to see how well we do. We, of course, finish with the aniogram. So here comes question 1. Quite easy. What did Hollycroft Park, Argentsmead and the rear of the shops in Castle Street once all share in common? Oh, there we go. I thought that's quite appropriate for this time of year as well, isn't it, Mrs. G? Yes, it is. So that is your question 1. What did Hollycroft Park, Argentsmead and the rear of the shops in Castle Street once all share in common? That is your local knowledge question to 6 of the best tonight. So I'm sure you'll get it. It's pretty straightforward, actually. This was a bit of a... I didn't know this. This is what I like doing about 6 of the best. What's the only sea that doesn't have any coasts? And I went, what? But it's true. What is the only sea that doesn't have any coasts? It's one of them questions. And even now, I can hear Google coming up on mobile phones. I can put them away. I can hear them. Okay, so that is question number 2. You will be, if you don't know, trust me, you're going to learn something tonight on question 2, no problem. Question number 3, true or false? In a deck of cards, the king has a moustache. Is that true or false? That is your true or false question this evening. Now, question 4. I didn't have a chance to re-edit this because I did it early on, but basically, what was the year of both the Challenger and Chernobyl disasters? So even though it looks a bit odd on the screen, what was the year of both the Challenger and Chernobyl disasters? That is question number 4. Okay, I can hear you're scribbling away. And stop looking over your shoulder. Watch the person sitting next to you. They're probably leaning over. Remember like you used to do in school? Yeah. What you got? What you got for question 4? What you got? What you got? Go on, I'll trade you question 2 for question 4. Yeah. Okay. So that was question 4. Good evening, Steve's just joined us in the chat room as well. Nice to know that you're there, Steve. We've just been talking about you. Where am I? In Hinckley. I'll just leave it on the screen a minute. And even now, I hear John Denny go, oh, no, no, oh, no, no. There we go. Somewhere in Hinckley, this facade awaits. But where in Hinckley is it? Oh, they're saying. And where can you see that? And where can you see that tree? Oh, in Hinckley. Oh, that is question number 5. And onto the aniogram. Here we go. Write it down. I'll leave it on the screen a few moments for you. Bottlenecks, faint-hearted Shelley. There you go. Bottlenecks, faint-hearted Shelley. If you rearrange that, you will be drawn to a local leisure attraction. There, a local leisure attraction. Bottlenecks, faint-hearted Shelley. Can't say no more than that. Okay, good. So let's go through it all one more time for you. Question number 1. What did Hollycroft Park, Argentsmead and the rear of the shops in Castle Street once all share in common? Question 2. What is the only sea that doesn't have any coasts? Tricky one, that. I should be surprised if anybody gets that without using you-know-who. Question number 3. In a deck of cards, the king has a moustache. True or false? Question number 4. Guess the year. What was the year of both the Challenger disaster and the Chernobyl disaster? It was the same year, but what was the year that happened? Right, okay. Moving on to question 5. Where in Hinckley? Chances are some of you have been here, but I'll say no more at the minute. Some of you have more than likely been here. I'm sure you have, actually. That's where we're looking here in Hinckley. And the anagram question. Bottlenecks, faint-hearted Shelley. Rearrange that. And it will direct you to a local leisure attraction. Yeah, that's about the best thing I can give you. Now remember, no putting the questions in, no putting your answers, by the way, into the chat room until, indeed, that we tell you to, and that's at the end. And behave yourselves this week. Okay, now then. Latecomers to the party include David Allen, who's just arrived here, all the way from Lincolnshire again. So hello, David. And as I say, Steve's here as well. Looking forward to seeing his nosy a little bit later on. Now, earlier on, what we've started doing just lately is putting our what's on in the opening, like at the opening time. So when you first put the stream on, instead of us just keeping the live thing on, we started putting some of the little adverts up of what we're up to. For example, this that we're organising in September. This is going to be great, and we're having lots of interest already. Just great. The old school hymns, a little bit of God's greatest hits, if you like, but they're great. And it's all for the church roof fund. That's why I put it on there. So let's raise the roof and help put a new one on. I think that works a treat, I do. Really, really good. That's one good thing. And another great thing that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time now. And Hinckley District Museum, along with HDPP and Hinckley and Bosworth Borough Council and Hysterical England, and we're all putting on this medieval fair. And it's going to take place in Argentsmead. And look what's going on, though. You've got a barber surgeon. That'll be fun, because we've got the barber surgeon coming to HDPP soon. Trust me. There's knights. There's medieval knights in combat. It's going to be great fun. Unfortunately, Sue and I won't be there because we go away on holiday that particular day. But Hinckley District, past and present, will be there. Please, 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 if you've got a little bit of time to spare, please see Steph, and so we can just man the stall and stuff. But it's going to be a great day, and it's over 2 days. It's going to be brilliant. Looking forward to that very, very much indeed. For those of you that don't know about our 1782 map, here it is. In 2 sizes, A3 or A2. Now, I know this time of year, but I'm just thinking, start thinking about the end of the year, in the big C word, yeah? These would make great gifts, trust me. And if you frame one up, no matter which size, they look absolutely stupendous, they do. And listen, for that size, and our friends at Hinckley Framers will be happy to frame it up for you as well. Trust me, they will. So there we go. Okay then, that's enough of this chit-chat and nonsense at the minute. We ought to put I think we ought to put one of our films on. One of the films that we haven't shown for a little while is some of Jim's stuff that he did for HDPP and on the old Tinternet for a little while ago. So I thought it might be worth running that again. So while you're working on 6 of the best and stuff, sit back and enjoy a little bit of local history in the Leicestershire area. And I think you're going to enjoy this one more time.
When the Romans left Britain around 410 AD, the economic and administrative systems that had existed for almost 400 years soon began to crumble without the administrative or organisational infrastructure there to maintain them. Almost overnight, systems for trade, communication, transportation, finance and governance disappeared as those left behind tried to fill the power vacuum and rebuild their lives and social structures. Out of this chaos, a new Britain was to emerge. A Britain divided into kingdoms, each fighting to stem the increasing tides of invaders and settlers from neighbouring territories as well as overseas. But how did the people of Leicester, or Rattay as it was still known then, manage through this period of commonly referred to as the Dark Ages? Did the town fall into darkness, or did it find a way to adapt and change? Join me, Jim Butler, as we explore this period of unprecedented upheaval and change through the lives and deaths of two remarkable women, two ladies of Mercia. Welcome to Hidden Histories of Leicester. When the Romans withdrew from Britain in the early 5th century, not only did the troops and governing authorities withdraw to mainland Europe, trade with the rest of the empire quickly dried up, along with supplies of coins too. Without a monetary economy, people would soon have to find new methods of trading, like bartering and offering services to others in exchange for goods. Also, without a civic authority, the huge public buildings like the Forum that stood behind me, as well as the streets, must have started to decay. Around the same time, Britain was coming under increasing attack and invasion from so-called barbarian groups from northern Europe, with the Angles from North Germany and Denmark working their way towards Leicester from the east coast. By 500 AD, the town is most probably under control of a group known as the Middle Angle. However, our first clue to life in this new Anglo-Saxon Leicester was actually discovered over 150 years ago, about 4 miles south of the city. So let's head there. On the 6th of February 1866, here at what is now the edge of the Ayresmonsel estate, workmen digging for gravel came across a crude stone arch. When they broke through the stones, they discovered the skeleton of a young woman that was in such an immaculate condition they thought that they'd come across a recent murder, and so they called the police. What they had actually discovered was the burial site of an Anglo-Saxon woman who had died in approximately 500 AD. Along with the skeleton were a number of grave goods and other clues that told historians that this was a high-status burial of an important individual. And so ever since, the skeleton has been known as the Glenparva Lady. Although only aged about 20 years old when she died, the Glenparva Lady was already married and already held a position of authority, as indicated by the girdle hangers found at her side. From trace fragments discovered, we know that she was buried in a sleeved linen undergarment with a woolen dress over the top, fastened with ornate metal brooches. Glass beads and a clawbone in her necklace, a glass beaker at her side, and a spindle whorl made of crystal clearly demonstrated her wealth. These finds could indicate that she belonged to an early branch of a royal Anglo-Saxon family that is thought to have centred on Great Glen. The name Glen is the earlier name of the River Sence, around which this domain was centred, including Fleckney, Wistow and Newton Harcourt. It's possible their domain stretched the few extra miles to include Glenparva, around which the River Sence still meanders just 400 metres away from where the Glenparva Lady was discovered. Regardless, the Glenparva Lady's burial and her grave goods give us a valuable window into early Anglo-Saxon culture, both in Leicester and the wider area that would soon become the Kingdom of Mercia. But for us to understand the significance of these finds, we need to explore them in the wider context of society at the time. So let's head back to Leicester. Following the departure of the Romans, the town wasn't simply abandoned. In fact, recent archaeological digs show that residents of Rattay cleverly repurposed both Roman civic buildings and villas to more industrious uses. Here amongst the rubble and ruins of the collapsed east wall of the Roman McKellen building, which we'll discuss in a later episode, archaeologists discovered evidence of a number of Anglo-Saxon sunken feature buildings. These timber buildings are essentially built over a pit in the ground, sometimes with a suspended floor. They are often used as workshops, particularly for the manufacture of textiles, as evidenced by the discovery of loom weights, spindle whorls and combs, all of which are used for weaving. But the Anglo-Saxons were predominantly farmers and, with limited space for growing crops and keeping livestock inside the town, settlements soon started appearing outside the walls. So let's have a look. Under what is now De Montfort University campus, archaeologists have discovered evidence of a number of large timber buildings. This tells us that just outside the south gate of the Roman wall and spreading down what was the Tripontium road towards Lutterworth was clearly a thriving Anglo-Saxon settlement. Amongst the building remains was pottery and a number of finds that suggest the weaving of yarn and spinning of cloth was taking place. The spinning of wool into yarn would have been an everyday task for women and girls of all walks of life, as demonstrated by the crystal spindle whorl buried with the Glenparva lady. In addition, almost every house would have had their own loom on which to weave this yarn into cloth for things like clothes and blankets. But by the early 1600s AD, cloth wasn't the only thing weaving its way into everyday Anglo-Saxon life. Something much more spiritual was taking hold. Follow me. Although Christianity arrived in Britain during the Roman period, it remained one of a number of small cults on the fringes of society, and it wasn't until the Emperor Constantine was converted in 313 AD that Christian worship was tolerated and encouraged in Roman society. But the religion didn't win the hearts and minds of everyday people, and so when the Romans left, the old Celtic religions re-emerged, and these were only reinforced by the arrival of the Angles, Saxons and Jutes, who all worshipped their own pagan gods. It wasn't until the Pope sent Augustine to convert King Ethelbert of Kent in 597 AD that Christianity started to take a hold and gradually work its way across the country. In 697 AD, the bishopric of Leicester was created, and Cuthwine was made the first bishop of Leicester, with responsibility for the whole territory of the Middle Angles. St Nicholas's church behind me is the city's oldest surviving church, dating back to the Anglo-Saxon period, and you can still see Roman bricks and Saxon stonework in its structure. However, it is thought this church we see today was actually built on the site of an older church that acted as Leicester's first cathedral for the Anglo-Saxon bishops that followed Cuthwine. Furthermore, one of the theories as to why Jewry Wall survived when all the other Roman buildings in the town disappeared is because it actually formed the western wall of that earlier cathedral building. How cool is that? Let's move on. As the Angle peoples moved across the county, many stopped and settled with their families when they came across a suitable piece of land that they could farm and live off. As these families grew and intermingled with other families, often the settlements grew and grew also, often taking the name of a founder, a lord, or a geographical feature. Many of these settlements became the towns and villages that we know today. So let's take some time to understand these naming conventions and get to know our villages a little better. The modern word home derives from ham, which has both German and Scandinavian origins. But in terms of Leicestershire place names, it is usually the second or final element of a Saxon place name and usually means village. For example, Higham would have meant high village or settlement. Settlements with ing or inga usually indicates an association to a particular person or peoples. So here at Peatling Magna, along with the neighbouring Peatling Parva, the name is referring to the people of Piotla, which is an Old English male name. The most common Anglo-Saxon element found in English place names is tun, spelt either T-U-N or T-O-N. It becomes increasingly popular from the middle of the 8th century and is the basis for the English word town. There are numerous examples across the city and county, including Evington, Syston, Knighton and Thornton. But a good example that incorporates a geographical element is here at the west of the city in Earl Shilton. The Earl element was added in the medieval era, but in the Domesday Book the village is recorded as Skelton. Skelf is the Old English word for shelf, and so Shilton is literally the settlement on the shelf. This alludes to the sudden drop in height from here at the old castle area down the A47 which heads towards Leicester. The place name element Lee refers to a clearing, often within a woodland. In 749 AD, Gumley was known as Godman's Lee, the woodland clearing associated with Godmund. At this time, Gumley was part of a royal estate, possibly as a hunting lodge, and both King Ethelbald and King Offa held council here. Let's move on. Broadly speaking, the term worth means an enclosure of some sort, be that a single building, a farmstead, or a whole settlement. So in this instance, Kegworth is the settlement associated with Kegger. Although there are still a number of less frequently used Anglo-Saxon place name elements in the county, there was one more that I have to mention. The term Stow refers to a holy place, and there is perhaps no more holier place in the county than here at the deserted village of Wistow in South Leicestershire. Wistow is the holy place of Wigstan or Wiston. Legend says that Wigstan was an Anglo-Saxon prince, perhaps from the royal estate at Great Glen nearby. In AD 849, Wigstan was murdered by his cousin Bertwulf, who wanted the throne for himself. Wigstan was declared a saint and a martyr, and pilgrims started to flock to the place of his murder. St Wiston's church behind me is reputedly built on the site of that assassination. Incredible. Let's move on. As I mentioned earlier, as post-Roman Britain developed, the people of its towns and villages began to form alliances with other groups, either based on kinship or trade or strong leadership. As these groups grew, they would clash with other groups, and they would grow and they would clash until eventually the country was divided into 7 kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, East Anglia, Essex, Kent, Sussex and Wessex. But by around 600 AD, and after much fighting, this had been reduced to just 5 kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, East Anglia, Kent and Wessex. And from this time onwards, Mercia is the dominant Anglo-Saxon kingdom, stretching from Chester across to the Humber in the north and from Newport in the south all the way across to London. The capital settlement of Mercia during this period was Tamworth, just over the southwest border of today's county. Although Leicester's relative proximity to the kingdom's capital would have benefited the town at this time, it also would have made it a valuable target for anybody wanting to disrupt the authority of the kingdom. From the last decade of the 8th century, that authority is increasingly challenged as raids and incursions by Norse and Scandinavian warriors reach further and further inland. By the middle of the 9th century, it must have been clear to the people of Leicester, as well as the whole of Mercia, that the Danes were coming. So let's head back to Leicester. The Humber and the waterways of the Wash gave the Danes immediate access into East Mercia, and in 874 they had successfully driven out Burgred, the last king of all Mercia. Leicester soon became the base of one of the Danish armies and would remain so for the next 44 years. The Danish occupying force seems to have centred itself mostly along the stretch between the Roman North and South Gates, along what is now High Cross Street. We know they moved east into the area now occupied by High Street, as well as the neighbouring area where the High Cross shopping centre now stands, due to the Norse-style brooches and carved bone objects found in the vicinity. Their presence is still felt through the street names they created, many with the suffix gate, which refers to the Danish word gata, meaning street or way to. For more information on gatters, please see my earlier episode called Walking the Walls. But for a better understanding of the extent of Danish occupation, we need to look further afield. So let's go. As with Anglo-Saxon settlements, when the Danes arrived, they named their homes and villages in the style of their homeland. By far the most common Scandinavian element of English place names is B, as in Thurmby, Blaby, Bushby, Kirby, Ashby, etc. In this instance, the element B refers to a farmstead or a village. So in the case of Cosby, we are talking about the farmstead or village associated with a person with the name of Cossa or Coffsey. The second most common Danish element in place names is Thorp. It tends to denote an outlying or secondary settlement, often on less fertile soils, perhaps founded by a later wave of settlers. Hence places like Barkby and neighbouring Barkby Thorpe. Other examples include Countersthorpe, Ullersthorpe, Donnersthorpe and Thorpe Langton. Here, just to the west of the Danish-occupied Leicester, was the village of Bromkinsthorpe, or the outlying settlement associated with Brunking. Although this settlement is long gone, the fact that the area is still referred to as the Dane Hills perhaps hints to its former occupants. What remains challenging with Scandinavian place names is that oftentimes Danes would impose their own names and own terms onto already established Saxon settlements. For example, Odeby is a Scandinavian place name, so Audisby becomes Odeby over time. However, this must have replaced an earlier Anglo-Saxon name, as an Anglo-Saxon cemetery was found here at Brox Hill, just outside the village. Still, there's a pretty major place name we still haven't yet discussed. For that, we need to head back to the city. So let's go. As mentioned in previous episodes, the Romans named the town we now call Leicester Ratae Curieltavorum, or Ratae for short. It could be that this shortened version remained the town's name for a number of centuries after the Romans left, but things definitely changed in the 8th century. The earliest form of the name Leicester appears in 787 when a royal charter names a bishop of the town, the Bishop of Legarensis. In 803, the town's name is recorded by Bishop Werinbert as Legarensis Civitatis, and in 925 as Ligera Sesta. This is important as it is the first time that Sesta, the word that the Anglo-Saxons used for a place they recognised as a Roman fortification, is used in the town's name. In the year 1000 AD, the town is known as Legrasesta, and by the Norman conquest, it is called Ledicestra in the Domesday Book. More variations appear over the next 100 years or so, including Leicester, Leicester, but it's not until 1610, under the reign of King James I, that the name stabilises to the form and spelling of Leicester as we know it today. Anyway, let's get back to the Danes. So by 874, Leicester is garrisoned by a Danish army, most likely under the command of a Jarl, a title that would later become known as Earl. In 886, King Alfred signs the Treaty of Wedmore, establishing a boundary between the Saxon and Danish-ruled territories. Everything to the north and east of this boundary falls under Danish rule and becomes known as the Danelaw. In Leicester, this boundary follows the line of the old Roman road, the Watling Street. And that road, as we know it, the A5, still forms the boundary of the southwest area of Leicestershire today. To strengthen their hold on the region and to defend against Saxon attack, the Danes installed their armies in 5 heavily fortified settlements called burhs. These settlements were at Leicester, Derby, Nottingham, Stamford and Lincoln, and they became known as the 5 boroughs. For the next 30 years, despite frequent incursions by both sides, the boundary between Saxon and Danish rule remained relatively fixed. However, in the early years of the 10th century, a new warrior and ruler would emerge who would effectively shift the balance of power in Britain back towards Saxon rulers. It's time to meet our second lady of Mercia. So let's head to Shearsby. In the courtyard of the Guildhall in Leicester, there was a small, often overlooked statue of one of the greatest Saxon rulers of the age. The oldest child of King Alfred the Great of Wessex, the Lady Ethelfled was born around 870 AD, at the height of her father's war with the invading Vikings. Alfred was a great believer in education, and so Ethelfled was educated the same as her brothers. But Alfred's ultimate aspiration for his daughter was that he could marry her off to a powerful lord to create a strong alliance against the Danes. So at 16, Ethelfled was married to Ethelred, King of Mercia. Unlike in Wessex, Mercia had no problem with women in positions of authority, as we saw with the Glenparva Lady. So Ethelfled took an active part in the life of court, where her talents shone. When her husband died in 911, Ethelfled became the sole ruler of the kingdom, the Lady of Mercia. In 913, Ethelfled boldly took the settlement of Scaregate, which is thought to be here at Shearsby, well within Danish territory. Her army then repelled a counterattack from the Danish forces at Leicester. But in 917, she was to have her greatest triumph, when her forces, supposedly led by her, attacked the Danish army at Derby and captured the town. Such was the fear and awe that she inspired in her enemies that in early 918, the Danish army in Leicester handed the town to her, and most of the local forces surrendered without a drop of blood being spilt, which is truly incredible. A few months later, even Danish-ruled York offered to pledge their allegiance to Ethelfled, but sadly she died on the 12th of June that year before she could take advantage of the offer. The offer was not repeated to her successor, the King of Wessex and her brother Edward, and it wasn't until her nephew Aethelstan defeated the armies of York in 927 that the last Danish kingdom fell. This made Aethelstan the first Anglo-Saxon ruler of all England, but arguably he never would have made it this far had it not been for the victories handed to him by Ethelfled, the Lady of Mercia. Historians have previously seen the slow and steady decline of Roman civilization as the beginnings of a dark age across the country. But more recently, excavations like the ones across the city over the past 20 years have thrown new light onto this period. As a result, archaeologists and historians now refer to the era between 400 AD and the Norman conquest as the early medieval period, a time of cultural transformation and change that would lay the foundations for the Middle Ages. Through the lives and deaths of our two ladies of Mercia, we can build a picture of life through this period. The Glenparva Lady, although not strictly speaking a Mercian, was clearly part of a burgeoning amalgamation of Romano-British and Germanic cultures that would become distinctly and uniquely Mercian. What we see through her burial is not a society in decline, lost in chaos, without Roman civil structures. Rather, the Glenparva Lady was part of a working, thriving community where wealth and social status were as much a part of everyday lives as they are today. Through Ethelfled's life, we see how the Mercian culture and attitudes to authority had evolved to the point where a woman assumed ultimate control of the kingdom and where seasoned warriors would willingly follow her into battle. It is said that in no other Anglo-Saxon kingdom at the time would Ethelfled have had such freedoms. Is this an early sign of gender equality in British history? Sadly not. But it does show that in this period and in this part of the country, people were willing to accept female authority based on actions and ability rather than just a judgment based on their gender. And perhaps, just perhaps, it hinted at a future where the city would be equally respectful of people, regardless of gender, sexuality, faith or race. Here's hoping. I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of Saxon Leicestershire. If so, please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
You know, it's really, really good to see that again. We've screened a series of Jim's programmes when we were in lockdown, and a lot of you regular viewers will remember that. And I decided, let's dig one of them out just for a change, because Jim has got a lovely way of, explaining himself without going into too much detail, but enough. And the programme moves along nicely instead of just staying in one place for ages and ages, and it gets a bit... Jim's got a lovely way of knitting it all together without sort of overloading you. And I see by the comments in the chat room echoing that all the way through. So fascinating stuff. Says Alan Kropp, good stuff. Says Dennis Perkins, very interesting. Yeah, and even Steve said it's really a nice, interesting video, this. I looked into Leicestershire place names a few years ago, so this was a nice refresher. Absolutely it was. It's good. And like I say, I will screen the others over the coming weeks again, because not only did he do, not only did he do, hey, that's good, isn't it? I'm onto something now. But not only did he just do that one, did quite a few other ones, which we found fascinating when he's walked around where the walls of Leicester once were and so on. And it's really good, really, really good. Anyway, listen, it's all gone quiet on Six of the Best front now. Does this mean that we have a killer? A killer question 6, I don't know, but we'll go through the questions one more time. Now, no putting answers up. We are, David Blower, we're not, your internet may be slow, but we're not at that point yet, so don't do it. Let's go through the questions for 6 of the best one more time before we have our nosy this evening. Right, so I'm asking in question 1, what did Hollycroft Park, Argent's Mead, and the rear of the shops in Castle Street once all share in common? Okay. Question 2. What is the only sea that doesn't have any coasts? Right. Interesting. We're all learning tonight. Question 3. In a deck of cards, the king has the moustache. Or is it Mr. Peacock? Sorry. Moving on, question 4. The year of both the Challenger and Chernobyl disasters. What year was it? Hello, Ivor. Just signing in from North Yorkshire. It's nice to know you're there. Oh, and John Denny says, got the anagram. I was beginning to wonder whether you was going to get it, John, to be honest. Question number 5. Where am I? Somewhere in Hinckley. Where am I? Chances are some of you have been here. Probably not really wanted to. But however, where in Hinckley are we? We will find out once again. Don't put your answers in yet. And question number 6. Bottlenecks, faint-hearted Shelley. Rearrange that. And it'll direct you to a popular local leisure attraction. I think that's fair enough. A popular local leisure attraction. John Denny will tell you the same. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes. So there we go. It's very quiet down on the old canal boat with Dave Blower. So we've got people thinking tonight about what are these questions all about. And a few people already said, I've got no idea. I've got note tonight. So there you go. Oh, Dave said, not got a clue, Paul. And yeah, come on, Mr. Blower, you should know this. In fact, to be totally fair to everybody viewing this evening, I think we've had this place before, and obviously a different word, clues and stuff. But we've done it before. I'm sure we have. So I've just reincarnated it, basically, so it could. Just have a think about it. A local leisure attraction. It is. And John Dennis going, yes, it is. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, so I can think of a clue just off, because it is pretty straightforward, actually. Oh, dear. And Kevin Beasley said, it's too hard this week. Is that right, Kevin? Is it really too hard? The whole lot's too hard. Wait till you find out about the sea with no coasts. Even better. Tonight will be an education. Dave B. There's no W, so it's not a railway. If you want to think that, mate, that's entirely up to you. Right, Carol Breezy says, I agree, Kevin, my brain hurts. David Bowie said that in 1973 with his Rise and Fall, 1972 with his Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. I just thought I'd get that in. Right, hands up. Are you all ready for a nosy? Yeah. Yes, we're all ready for a nosy. Of course we are. Steve has been out and about, and even I haven't had a chance to actually watch this yet. Normally I have a chance to watch before we screen, but because Steve didn't post it till about sort of, I don't know, it must have been about past 5, 6 o'clock, I literally just downloaded it, threw it into the editor, and we'll see. Jan's just holding her hand, being totally honest. I've cheated and asked Google on the C question. Well, to be totally honest, I should be surprised if anybody hadn't looked at that. Yes, there we go. Yep, people are saying, yeah, we're ready for the old nosy. So, if you're all sitting comfortably, Steve's ready to go. Paul, do you use a green screen for the scene behind you? No, these are real books. Real books. Now, you see this one here? This white one? It's a rare one. It's rare. Very rare. It's the John Denny Book of Pictorial Hinckley. And it's published by an In Your Dreams publication. There you go. This is my library, yeah. It's a blooming nuisance because I have to fetch the blooming shelves all the way out, load all the books in. And I just always like to get John Denny's book on, just so we can see it behind me, So there you go. Yes, of course it's a real bookcase. Anyway, we'll move on. Time for the nosy. Keep your comments coming, please. Remember to like our video. And now, sit back and enjoy the very latest nosy with our Steve. Here he comes.
Hello, hey up and hey diddling, my name is Steve and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right then, courtesy of Google Earth, as you can see there, we are indeed slap bang in the middle of the screen where that red dot marks the spot. And we're back in northwest Leicestershire for today's video. As you can see, not too far from Ashby-de-la-Zouch and not too far from the town of Colville where I'm from. Now, cast your minds back a few videos ago. I went up Newbold Colorton, which is where we are today on the outskirts, and I found what remained of an old tramway. Because a chap had got in touch with me called Lee Taylor, and he said, hey, go and have a look for the remains of these old tramway tubs. But I didn't pick him up on something in his message, because he told me about an incline where these tubs were. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go back up there, me, Dave and Steve, and we're going to try and put one of these tubs back on the tramway. It was a laugh if nothing else. Right, so before we go for the nose then, I just want to show you this. Now this is a close-up of today's exploration. And those buildings you can see there next to the red dot on the left, that's where the former Staunton Colliery used to be. Of course, it was called the Worthington Colliery after that. Then it became the Newbold Pipe Works. And that's why I think they actually, where that body of water is to the north of the photograph there, courtesy of Google Earth once again, by the way, I think that was an extension of the place. They found some decent clay deposits there and used it for the actual manufacturing of pipeware, etc. But in the video I mentioned a tunnel. Now where that blue dot is, that's roughly what we dig out today to expose this tramway. Now between that blue dot roughly and the red dot, I think is where a tunnel was. Now where those buildings are and where the colliery used to be, there's a big bank there, and it's a shame. I wanted to show you on the LiDAR because it shows you the earthworks, and I think on there it's actually showing you the alignment of a north and southern portal. But I might be wrong, but unfortunately I can't show that to you. But I just thought I'd show you this and keep you in the loop as to what I'm banging on about in the video when I'm talking about a tunnel, which we don't go and look for, by the way. We haven't got time for that. Anyway, let's go for the nose there. And before we do, Dave's going all Victor Meldrew on me. He's moaning his head off. He's giving my arse an headache. Right, let's go and have a nosy.
Steve, why are we out on a Sunday morning at 6:30 and you're not telling us where we're going?
Oh, you ain't shut up yet, Dave.
Well, bloody hell, I could do with a lying this morning.
Well, you don't normally moan.
I'm walking around with a spade.
Yeah.
You know, it's 6:30 on a Sunday morning, you won't tell us where we're going. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, you know what the shovel's for, don't you?
What?
Because if you don't shut up moaning, I'm going to bury you. Because you're getting on me tits. Oh, I've just realised I've left me water in your boot. Mind you, I ain't going back up there. You brought out with you, Steve?
Yeah, I've got 2 bottles of squash. I've got berry squash.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, you know what Steve drinks like that? It's like Esther Ranson drink.
What do you mean?
Well, when you drink it, your gums go back like this. On tonight's show, we're complaining about a dodgy toaster.
You what?
Here we are, Sunday morning, still not telling us what we're doing. I'm getting too old for this.
Moan, moan, moan. Well, you might as well face the truth, 'cause you were just too long in the tooth, and your old knees are starting to knock. You've got too many miles on the clock. You may be clapped out, run down, set in your ways. Delighted Dave.
Don't believe it!
Right, come on, you silly old fart. You're getting on me tits now. Moaning, you ain't stop moaning.
What's this? This is it, is it?
Yeah, all will be revealed. Don't panic.
Drag me out of bed at 6:30 to bring me
Oh,
Oh yeah, lovely silver birches.
yeah, come here. Come here. Come here, come and stand in this long, lush undergrowth. We're here. We're here, Dave. We're here. Can you see it yet? Yeah, you
Railway?
see. Yeah, railway, narrow gauge. It's a tramway. You are now standing, my lad, on an industrial tramway. Now, yeah, amazing. Now we're going to clear a bit of this, and we're going to try and put an old tub back on it. I mean, the tub has seen better days. The actual tub on it isn't there anymore, but the chassis and that, you know, where the wheels are, still there. Now we've got to keep his voices down a bit, because we've got here relatively early. We've just walked in around a bit of a private fishery. And this bloke's just said, you're not fishing here, are you? I says, no. I said, I've come to look at an industrial tramway. In the top corner, he says, well, please try and be as quiet as you can. I've been here since 4 o'clock this morning. I've baited up that area there and this one. So I'd really appreciate it if you're quiet. So we're going to give him the decency, you know, but we're going to try and go about his business. We're not going to clear all of this. We ain't got all day, but we're going to try and clear a bit of it and get maybe 1 or 2 of these old tubs or mini wagons on it. If we're strong enough, and I had no Weetabix this morning. So
Wow,
you happy with that?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah, this is great, this bit.
Yeah. Well, it's still intact here. It's still in situ.
Yeah.
Behind the camera, it's gone quite narrow where it's corroded, and you know, with ground movement, earth movement, etc. It's narrowed in a bit. So we'll concentrate on this down here, I think,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
All right. What do you reckon, Steve? Yeah. Steve, come here. You're out of shot. We've got to get the pissed up priest on camera.
Morning.
Morning. There you go. You see.
Steve ain't got long before his parishioners start arriving at the
Yeah,
church.
9:30. I've got to be there. Got my casket ready.
He's with his parishioners now.
Oh, soul.
Right, shall we get on with it?
Yeah.
It's a bit humid, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah.
We ain't right in the
I've been in the Amazon forest, this is.
Yeah. What we doing? Come on, let's get on with it.
Yeah, I've been saying that all morning, what we're doing.
I know. Shut up moaning. You've given my arse an headache. Right, so off we go through the jungle. So this then is a tramway, an inclined plane. Now just beyond you can see the shimmering of light on water down there. That's now a fishery, that's the old clay pool. And they used to extract clay from there, take it up to the new bold pipe works or brickworks behind where I'm stood now, via a tunnel which you can't get in anymore. And they used to make pipes and bricks with it, of course. And I imagine that up that end there would have been a winding drum. Now, as far as I know, there's only one track here, sorry, not 2. So it wouldn't have been a case, I don't think, of 1 up, 1 down. Right, so as you can see, here it is, and there, nice little narrow gauge rail. So the idea is clear a bit of this where it's still reasonably well laid in situ, and bring what remains of one of these things up here. And one of the questions you'll be asking yourself is, why are you doing it? Why are you bothering? Well, we're a bit daft, aren't we, Dave?
Yeah, and it's just a testament to The men that used to work here, they've
Yeah.
probably not been on the track for 60
Yeah,
years.
I mean, I don't think that this incline is actually that old. Probably 1900, early 1900s. Anyway, let's crack on with it. Yeah, looks good now. So as you can see, it's actually starting to take shape. We've got some of this roughage out of it. Do you know, it's ever so humid. It's about 7:30, 20 to 8 in the morning, I think. But it is starting to take shape, that now. We can't see any sleepers though yet, unless they've rotted away, but you'd expect to have some still in situ, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There was over there when I went and found that other one. Hey? Yeah, I told you it was worth doing it, didn't I? I just hope people watching it appreciate it. How are we getting on, Dave?
Oh, right, it's showing itself now.
Yeah, so look at this. So I think this was probably put here at the turn of the 20th century. I might be wrong, because when you look at really old Ordnance Survey maps from the 1880s, I don't think that the clay pit, which is now full of water, I don't think it's on them. So for me, I think this is early 1900s. But what the plan is, let him do a bit more. I'm going to clear a bit more of the undergrowth from behind. And it was actually worse than what it looked, to be honest with you. Get my knee pads on and scrape some of this out with my little shovel just to expose it a bit more. Right, so we'll start exposing this. Then pair have gone to look at the tubs down there. Dave's gone to show Steve. But you know, I love this. Sunday morning, out with your mates. You know, and I love it. You know, we're digging up history, aren't we? You know, this was laid maybe in the early 1900s, I think. I think this cutting here would have been dug out with mechanical excavators, you know, steam navvies. That's what I think, anyway. I don't think this would have been all hand dug out. Could have been, but I doubt it. But, you know, this has been buried, parts of this. We're actually digging it up now. So, I mean, for me, it hasn't been seen for a long time. Of course, our friend who told us about all this in the first place, you know, he'd been down here long before me and found it, so it's him that we thank. But it was just get it exposed, you know. It's a great little shovel, this is, you know, but the only problem you have in soft soil like this, when you've got trees and bushes and everything everywhere, you've got a continuation of roots, you know, and it's difficult to dig through. You can't get a clean dig, as it were, you know. Hey? Jeff Capes, what do you want him for? He got me. I'm going to end up with egg on my face now, aren't I? Yeah.
Looks like 300 kilos.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh well, hope you're feeling strong. Yeah, thanks for breaking my finger, you knobhead. I've already cut through my leg. Hey, bugger off. Right, I'm just clean this bit up more.
Don't call him a pissed up priest for nothing.
No.
He's praying for this.
Yeah. People will be watching this now praying I'll go in the drink. This could happen.
And it's an alcoholic drink as well.
Yeah. What are we doing? Flipping it over there?
So it's on an angle there.
Right. Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
Right. It's very well corroded, isn't it? Incredibly so.
Take a picture of that.
How the hell are we going to get it up there? No, you got no chance of turning that. No. Right, so the next bright idea is trying to pull it up here. I mean, once we're actually on this bit, this is the incline, this bit here, so...
Why didn't we clear this bit?
Don't.
Just say.
But it is, yeah, but the muck's quite deep here, isn't it? I had delusions of grandeur. I thought it was going to be lighter than what it is, but I know it's not bloody light because I tried moving it myself.
I mean, I think we'll have a go at pulling it up, and then I think that if we can't, we've got to roll it that way, and then walk it up like a slab.
Yeah. That seems like a very long way right now. That's 20 metres, isn't it? Right. You ready? Yeah. No, it's not happening. We've got to flip it. What's your tuck set? Ready? Yeah.
Push feet. That's it.
One more. Right, we're going to keep flipping it. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Right. Do you want to get down the other side to break?
Give it a shove.
Do you want to
slide?
Yeah. Well, hold on. We need to keep hold of it because if we drop it, it's going to break. So hold on. Let me hold it here.
Stronger than we think.
Well, yeah, but hold it here.
Yeah.
I'll hold it. You go around there and break and hold it on the other side. Right. Yeah, I've got it. Right, oh, hold on. That's it. Right, steer it. No, we can't. We can't drag it. No, hold on, no.
I'll come round there with you.
Thank God for that tree. I nearly had it then. Hey?
It's stronger than it looks. I think we need to shove it and let it go.
Ready?
Yeah.
Just make, that's it. I've got it, right.
Let it go, just shove it over.
Right, you come up, I've got it. Oh, shit. You got it.
Yeah. On the brake, guys.
Yeah, go on.
Let go. So it's stronger than we think.
Do another one, quicker one.
Yep. Watch your feet, Dave.
There you go.
Not the strongest man in the world.
You won't get Eddie all doing this on a Sunday morning, would you?
Just steer it a minute before we tip it.
All right, I've got it. Hold on, let me just steer it over here. Hey? Oh, yeah. You got it? Go on, do another. Ready? Watch yourself, David. Moment of truth then. So we're not far off now, as you can see. I think it should still fit. Right, are we ready?
Yep.
Oh, do you know what? I feel like it's getting lighter as we go on.
It is, because I keep removing bits.
Yeah.
Watch your feet.
Right.
One more.
Yeah, we've got to flip, that's it. Right. Hold on, about to get it in line. Oh, shit.
That's it, now come round here. And we'll drop it down nicely.
Wow, it fits. It fits. Wow, it fits. Is it on the camera, Dave? Yeah. It fits like a glove. Can you imagine though, if the tub was still on it, we would have never got it up here.
Now it's on the track where you can see. how this fits. These 2 hinges here, look, the tub are tipped forward.
Yeah, amazing. I can't.
That is truly amazing.
Do you know what? I know there's going to be a few people maybe watching this that are thinking to themselves, so what? But to me, you know, this is history. This has been chucked down there for God knows how many years. And now, you know, me, Dave and Steve, we've managed to get it up here. You know, we've...
Oh, look, it fits perfect.
I know. We've dug out a bit of trackway as well for it. And now it's back where it belongs, what it was built and designed for. You know, the people that built this little tramway and, you know, even, you know, joined all this together and built this tub, you know, they're no longer with us, you know, and...
This is in memory of you guys.
Yeah, this is in memory of you guys. Thanks for giving us all this history and what have you.
This is for you.
It's turned into a Gwyneth Paltrow speech at the Oscars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey? But yeah, fantastic. Yeah, this bit of moss off it there, yeah. Right, so let's show you. So as Steve was saying, you've got these loops here, look, one there and one there. And that is, indeed, I agree with him, that's where the tub would have actually tipped back in the day. It's a shame we ain't got no intact ones, but amazing effort, chaps, honestly. I mean, I must admit, Dave, I did think, when I got here and seen it down there near the water, I did think to myself, we might be struggling here, but no. Once it were out that mud...
It's all quite emotional, really.
Emotional?
You think when the pit closed, they didn't have a care in the world and you just rolled them down the incline
Yeah.
and crashed into each other because there's some in the water.
Absolutely.
So it's quite emotional, really, that it's now out and back on its track.
But it's back where it should be. It's not been on there for a long time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. Great morning, wasn't it? It didn't really take us that long either. I mean, look at us now, sat on this amazing old piece of equipment.
I can't believe it just slotted straight into the track.
I know, it's amazing. Do you know what? I'm actually quite proud of what we've achieved this morning. It didn't take us as long as I thought it were going to. And when we went down to the water and seen this at the side of the water there, I thought, I think I've bitten off too much I can chew here, you know, but amazing. Like you say, the gauge, it still fits. It still fits how it should do. You watch, we'll go flying down the hill now like a slalom.
Are you too happy with me towing you home on it?
Yeah, all right then, yeah. But I really hope you, the viewers as well, enjoyed this video. It's been a laugh, hasn't it? Yeah. From start to finish, I hope. It's something a bit different. It's not something we usually do, but I'm always striving, thinking of new ideas to make the content better. So people like the videos and share them, because people are only going to share them if they're interested. And I hope this was of interest to you. Even if you're not interested in this sort of thing, I like to think it's got that, element of adventure with it. You know, 3 blokes out on a Sunday morning, gallivanting about in the undergrowth, having a laugh, because that's what it's all about, life, you know, whatever it is you do.
I say, this is in memory of the people that worked it.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, there would have been 100% for me, a winding drum up there. We think now there might have been another track over there in that bit of a cutting. There's a shallow cutting there, but we're not going to be digging that out today. This is enough for now.
I think we've done it now.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Anyway, thanks for your help, chaps.
No worries.
Really enjoyed that, and I really hope you lot enjoyed it as well. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe and share. You know, if you're an existing subscriber, please share it away on social media and all that if it floats your boat. You know, and if you're here for the first time, please click that subscribe button and also the notifications bell, because if you don't do that, you won't be notified when I upload a video. All right, so anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully I'll get this uploaded today, but if not, it'll be next week. Right, let's get out of here. Let's make like a tree and leave.
Right, I just want you all to stay on there so I can get a selfie.
Okie dokie.
Well, what a different one that was, Steve. Well done. I was exhausted watching. I could feel my back going while that was happening. Excuse me. Fantastic, Steve. And I do understand it's probably some people don't get it, but as you're rightly saying, this is history, and it's history you can touch. It's tangible. And you guys went out there today and just reunited that little dolly there onto the track which you did not run on for all those years, and it's just there. And recollections actually, and as I was saying earlier on, Dave Blower, he was once in charge of the Queen's Road Winch Railway. I think I may have mentioned it in passing before, but such was Dave's enthusiasm for wanting to do something different. And I can remember the Winch Railway in his back garden, which is not far from HDPP Towers. And so I see where you're going with that, Steve. I think it was a great idea to do. And I don't think anybody will. I mean, I'll put in the comments, you watch some yobs will come by next week and go and yank it back in the river, in the water. But no, I don't think they would. They'd be well tested to do that. It would be nice if there was a couple more to put on, and but I think that was really a special one, Steve, and I think you guys did very, very well today. So well done. Carol Saccone says, how does he find these things? It's amazing what's out there. You see, it is. Absolutely a great little bit of history there, and everybody saying here, so if you can find this place in, like Daniel Coburn says, I'm going to go and take a look at your handiwork, and then maybe you could all leave little messages on it. I've been to see this, Steve, well done. And then it could be a little shrine to Steve all on his own there. A little, as Kevin B said, maybe it become a local tourist attraction now. We've got the video of you doing it. And I was seriously, just before we go on to the answers of 6 of the best, it crossed my mind earlier on, just for a moment, just suppose for a moment, in another 50, 75, 100 years' time, chances are, there's a good chance that's going to still be sitting there, and nobody will know how that one little truck thing got there, but we've seen it happen tonight. Isn't that a thought when you think about it? It's true. Think, well, blimey, I wonder why that one survived and all the others are in the trink. However, there we go. So, well done, Steve. And as I say, we'll have another nosy next week. Won't be pulling a new one, because to be fair to Steve, he shot that this morning, edited it this afternoon, and uploaded it. So I think we can give him a week off next week. I think him and the guys have definitely earned it, because there's no way I could have done that with my back. So there we go. It's time for your answers to 6 of the best. Now, first of all, warning. David Blow has been on the extra strong wine tonight. David, now wait for your cue tonight before he starts putting the answers up. This is going to be interesting tonight, because I really don't know how many some of you are going to get tonight, because apparently some people reckon it's a real hard quiz tonight. Now, and I'm not just saying, I thought, it's a doddle tonight. I know it's because I write it, but I really thought, that's an easy one. Yeah, that's an easy one, but there you go. All right then, so let's get ready for 6 of the best, and we'll do them one question at a time. Remember, only send the answers in for the question that we're on, and not for one that's on further down. Okay then. Right. Jan Kirby, I'm rubbish tonight. No, you're not, Jan. You're not at all. It doesn't matter. It's the taking part. So let's go. We'll go firstly with question 1. Now, we know, first of all, can you already feel that smug smile coming across before we've even done anything? You know John Denny's going to answer this. You just know it, don't you? Here we go. What did Hollycroft Park, Argentsmead, and the rear of the shops in Castle Street once all share in common? Okay, that's what we're asking on this one. And I'm just going to give it a moment for the chance for the signal to get out there, and then for you people to answer back. Right then. Now then. Oh, here we go. We've got some clever one. First of all, Jan says, I've had 2 glasses of wine with my dinner. Okay, Jan, we'll let you off. No, David Allen, he's got Castle. That's not the answer we're looking for tonight. Kevin Beasley's put windmills. Good answer. Not the one. Oh, no, I can't believe this. John Denny. Don't know. Oh, just a minute. I'm in shock here. Okay, now he's put Atkins family. Sounds like he's stabbing at it. Right, okay, well, I can tell you. What did Hollycroft Park, Argentsmead, and the rear of the shops in Castle Street one share in common. And I did say it was that time of year, didn't I? Yes. Tennis courts. There was tennis courts. Well, there still is in Hollycroft Park. Argentsmead had tennis courts. And indeed, we found a map a little while ago, didn't we? If you were following the thread on the group. There was a tennis court at the back where the Britannia Centre sort of goes now. Right at the back there used to be a private tennis court there. Yeah. So there we go. So we're looking for the answer is tennis court. And if you didn't know that, it doesn't matter. Now you know in future when we use this question again, because I'm sure we'll recycle it. Okay, so no one has got question 1. There we go. And Jan Kirby, wow, that's right. I know a joke about wow, but I can't tell it on here. That's the trouble. Question number 2 then. Okay, yeah, you see. Oh, didn't know that. Right then, what is the only sea that doesn't have any coast? Now, I'll give you a moment to spell it out because I know some of you admitted they had to go on Google to get the answer to this one. No, David, it's not the Mediterranean Sea. Dennis Perkins says, I don't know. Here he goes, John Denny, yeah. The Sargasso Sea. So does Anne Hunt say the same? Daniel Coburn, the letter C. No, we're not doing that one. Yeah, Sargasso, but I did Google, says Jan. Okay, and Alan Kropp says Black Sea. No, not Black Sea, Alan. But you've had a go. It's the Sargasso Sea. It's a sea in the middle of the sea, that basically is influenced by currents and stuff. But it's got its plankton, seaweed, and stuff that are all sort of self-contained within it. I'd never heard of it before, I'm going to be honest with you, but we're looking for Sargasso Sea. It's in the North Atlantic, I think. Yeah, towards the Arctic. Anyway, there you go. So that's what we were looking for. Question 2. Still needs, oh God, let's say we had to have an easy one now. Bermuda Triangle, Jan. Yes, that wine's going down quite a treat now, isn't it? Question 3. True or false, in a deck of cards, the king has a moustache. Or is it Mr. Peacock? In a deck of cards, the king has a moustache. Is that true or is it false? The correct answer, Dave Allen says it's false. Yeah, true, that's right. Daniel Coburn, false. Kevin Beasley says truer. No, it's false, I tell you. It's the Jack that has the moustache, you know. Yes. Dennis Perkins says true. No. True, but not the King of Hearts. No, we're talking Jacks there and think. Anyway, Ian Roberts just caught up with the Ariel Sea. No, mate. No coastlines involved in that. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. The answer was false on that one. Question number 4. The year of both the Challenger and Chernobyl disasters. Type your year in, what you think it is now. 2 awful tragedies that took place that year. And let's see who comes up with the right answers first. David Allen first with 86. Jan Kirby, 86. What's going on? I see the answers to 6 of the best. Well, we are now asking them, Carol, to put their answers in. You're probably on a slow connection. Anyway, Dennis Perkins, Dangerous Den says, no Google, it was 1984. You need Google, it was 1986, mate. And Daniel Coburn, 1986, and John Denny, 1986 is the correct answer for that. Okay, then now we move on, ladies and gentlemen. Where am I? Some of you, I'm sure, have been here. It's not a place you don't necessarily make a beeline for this place, that's for sure. I think that's fair to say. So, where am I in Hinckley? Here's the old smuggy. John Denny, the House of Dental, Station Road, correct. That's correct. Dennis Perkins, correct. The Station Road Dentist, that is quite correct. Yes, and I'll just show you the answer. There we are. Look, if you're not sure, look, there we are in Station Road there. The House of Dental. I will tell you what the answer is, but I'm on numb at the minute. Okay, that's where we did, as it were. And anagram time. Okay, come on then, Mr. Smugly. I think I'm going to call him Mr. Smugly from now on. Yeah, Mr. Smugly, put your answer in. Oh, Jan Kirby just put, was that the House of Horror? Yeah. Dave B. Shenton Battlefield Car Park. You were close, David. You were close. We were actually looking for the Battlefield line, Shackerston. Shenton Battlefield Car Park. Well, I can see where you were going, David, but I thought you probably would have picked up a bit more. That wine's very good that you're on tonight. Yes, the answer we were looking for, the anagram, Bottleneck's Faint-Hearted Shelley, is the Battlefield line, Shackerston. So give yourself a round of applause if you got that right, Mr. Smugly. That's going to stick, you know, Mr. Smugly. Definitely sticking tonight, yeah? And there we go. Dave B, give yourself half a point for cheek. I think that's probably the best thing. There we go. Let's get your totals in then, ladies and gentlemen. Get your... Kevin Beasley, in only 2 tonight, Paul. Well, it's 2 is better than 1 is better than none. Daniel Coburn, well, halfway. I got 3, says Daniel Coburn. Crikey, says Jan. Only talking about that today when we passed the Central Railway. Yes, you see. Alan Kropp, 1 and glad to get that out tonight. To get that tonight. Well done, Alan. Anne Hunt says 3 for me. David Allen, 2 for me. 2 for me, 1 for you. John, Mr. Smugly, is 4 tonight. Yeah. Jan Kobe says 1 and a cheat. But she's honest. I like the honesty. That is absolutely fine. Well done. So it looks like Mr. Smugly is going to be tonight's winner because I don't think anyone's got over 5. And I must be on seriously. I'm not joking. I thought, well, this is quite an easy one tonight. Obviously not. So I'll have to make them next week. We'll have to be easy peasy because next Sunday night it'll be Carol Beasley. Note. Next Sunday night, it'll be our last live stream for a couple of weeks because we'll be away. But we will be here next Sunday night. Just remember that because otherwise you'll be trying to tune in and we won't be here, basically. But there's plenty of old back issues on YouTube you can pick up anyway. You know, fair enough. Like Jan says, it's only easy, Paul, because you know the answers. Well, I thought everybody knew about the tennis courts. I thought everybody knew these sort of... Well, it's obviously the way I think. I'm sorry. I just thought everybody knew that's too easy. It's too easy. Well, anyway, so we'll make them extra easy next week then. And I thought, oh, they're bound to get the Battlefield line. Shackerston. No, nobody got that one either except Mr. Smugly. Do you know the Mr. Men? I'm going to find one that's called Mr. Smugly. I really am. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, and Cal Beasy said, I'm off on my holidays next weekend. She's off on a biker's holiday, Dennis. She's gone to get the leathers out and she's going off on a biker's holiday. So we will see the leathers. Really looking forward to that, eh? Are we going to look forward to that one? Absolutely we are. Absolutely going to be fantastic. No, we're here next... We are here next Sunday night. We are here next week. It's the week after we won't be here because, I won't be here. You can come if you like, but I won't be here. But we are here next Sunday night, so just be aware of that. It's been great tonight. Really enjoyed it. What a great nosy as well. And if you've liked it, please remember to like the video, please, and also make sure you click the subscribe bell so when we go live you'll know that we've gone live. Daniel Coburn said, thank you, great night, Sue and Paul. I'm absent next week. I'll be on a plane at the time, so I shall have to catch up round the pool later on. Catch up, okay, fair enough. Carol says, no, I'm not going on a biker's holiday. Oh, we really thought you were going to go and get them leathers. Me and Dennis, we've just been messaging each other. Be great to see Carol in them leathers. No, she's going in a camper van. Oh, well, that's it. Anyway, okay then. Dave B said, I got the C&K in. Well done, Dave. And Mary Blake said, thank you both for tonight. They've enjoyed it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Oh, yes, I've got to talk to you, Jan Kirby, about the medieval weekend. You and Steph, we must catch up coming soon. Anyway, thank you for all... I know, Dennis Perkins, look at that. Shame. Come on, Carol, you can't do that to us. You can't do that to us, surely. Thanks very much for your company this evening. Really enjoyed it. And try and join us next week. We'll be here live. It's the week after that we won't be here, but then we'll see how it goes from there. Okay. So until next weekend, remember to keep it HDPP, keep it live, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye. Oh hello, he's back again. Listen, part of the programme we never ever talk about. Most people have turned off by now, and who can blame them? Some people have turned off 30 minutes ago, but who can blame them actually? When we have a few dad jokes to send you off to bed with a little bit of a chortle, okay? So, if you're ready, just for a quick few, just to send you off to bed with a little laugh, a little chortle, here we go. Are you ready for the first one? Oh, we are all ready. Yes, people coming back in. Here we go. Right then. My dad attacked me with a vacuum cleaner today, yelling, Dyson! Yeah. Now then, people often ask me why I wanted to be a film editor. Well, to cut a long story short... I asked for a girl's number at the weekend and she put 3.14159 in my phone and walked off. I guess I got pied. Yeah, 2 more. Sometimes I took my knees into my chest and leaned forward. That's just how I roll. And finally, I like this one. And finally, whenever I get undressed in the bathroom, my shower gets turned on. Good night.